Hello and welcome to the first episode in a new series of the Northern Ireland Women's Football Show, the programme which explores all angles of the women's game in Northern Ireland. I'm Jana McCabe.
And I'm Rachel Magill.
Rachel, even though we've worked together for probably too long now, this is our first time actually presenting together. Are you excited for this new venture?
Yeah, I'm super excited. It's great to be able to, explore the world of women's football in Northern Ireland and hear from people who know all about that.
Yeah, I'm really excited, and also to have a bit of heat because I'm used to the freezing cold weather at games and training sessions. But without further ado, we're delighted to welcome our first guest, Northern Ireland Women's Football Association Chairperson, Valerie Heron. Valerie, thank you for joining us and also leaving your sheep to be here today. How did you first get involved in women's football?
I probably came from a football family. My two brothers played football, and then I married a footballer as well, who went on to manage and was very successful. So that's probably how I became involved in football. In women's football, our team down in Killylay started, and I became like an administrator for that. And then Sue O'Neill convinced me to join the NIWFA committee. And 10 years ago, most of the ones that's on our committee now went through the Female Football Leaders Association, and that was really good grounding.
And talk us about the Football Leaders Programme. I'd love to hear more about that.
So 10 years ago, they started the Female Football Leaders course. It has changed slightly now, but that was good grounding, and it got us all involved in a wee bit of media, not a lot, but all the background to football, how to run football, do the fixtures and different things like that.
Obviously you mentioned there your family, your husband Dee, he's a big part in women's football as well. Talk me through his role a bit.
Well, I got Dee to join the committee last year. Obviously he has managed and been very successful in the past years.
Is it easier having your husband there, or is it a bit more difficult? You want to kind of shout at him sometimes when you can't.
Well, I'm able to bounce questions off Dee now because he knows so much about football. I'm not into football as much as I'm into the administration at the end of it. So it has been great this last year actually, that he's able to help me with the fixtures and things like that.
You mentioned there the fixtures. What does your role entail?
Fixtures can be really a headache for us because we have so many teams, and our teams play on different nights. So they could play on a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. They play any day except a Saturday, which is men's football day. So we have to arrange round that and arrange round bank holidays and men's international dates, women's international dates, things like that.
And speaking of how many teams you're organising this year, you've 17 new teams joining your leagues.
Yeah.
Just how much has women's football grown since you began?
Women's football has just grown immensely since I have become involved, and obviously that's in the back of the Euros and things like that have improved the take up of football, especially with young girls.
You mentioned there the Euros. Obviously some key players for the Northern Ireland senior side started in your leagues, Jackie Byrne, Simone Magill. How proud of you are those players that are now such role models to the younger generation?
Personally, I'm extremely pleased about that, but especially the teams that they came from, the like of Mid-Ulster and all, Junkie must be so delighted that they came through their ranks.
And one time that we saw all those players in action was in Southampton. I know I was there. I'm sure a lot of viewers were there. Valerie, you could definitely hear you were shouting loud enough. How did you enjoy that experience?
Oh, Southampton was just something else, really. I wish we had stayed for more matches, but it was just so great, and to see all the NIWFA teams there represented, and my young nephew William Strahan, obviously he was bouncing out of his chair that night. It was really good. And
what about that the travelling fan base? There's so many of them, and with that weather, felt like we were in Spain. Never mind Southampton.
Well, it was great to see everybody there, and everybody was chatting to each other, and it was a great experience for everybody.
And that Euros experience, do you think, with so many new teams joining the league, that's increased participation?
It has, because there was so many youth there, there was so many young girls there, and they saw what they could maybe achieve, so there are a lot of young teams now starting up right across Northern Ireland.
And speaking of those young players, how important is it for you to have academies with your teams and your leagues?
It's essential. The only way that women's teams will survive is if they have that pathway through, and those young girls come right through the system and into the women's teams.
And not just playing wise, we've seen a huge increase in people going to games.
Yeah.
Have you seen that in your leagues?
In some of the leagues, yes, especially in the championship, you would get crowds going, especially to watch the younger players and that coming through.
And the championship was certainly competitive this year, with Larne and Ballymena going up to the National Football League. How, is that real pride for you?
Of course it is, yes. So last year we sent up Mid-Ulster and Lisburn Ladies, and I know, speaking to Hayden and those ones, those girls really have enjoyed the experience of that, the media, but it's such a big step up for them. They have been able to stay for a second year, so it'll be interesting to see how Ballymena and Larne progress this year.
Will you be keeping a close eye on them and on the league table?
Of course I will, yes, definitely will.
And then as the new season starts pretty soon, if you could see one more change brought into the women's game, what would it be?
That's a difficult one. Women's football is difficult because we overlap with the men's season. So really teams need more facilities, they need more pitches, we need more coaches. We just need more help, I think, really.
And speaking of that help, do you think that there's anything more that the players could do to help the growth of women's football?
I don't think it's really so much the players as in maybe that we need help from the IFA and whatever on more guidance. So teams coming into our leagues now are starting in Division 6, so it's going to be at least 6 years before they're up at the top. So I think we need to do something. There's so much football all over Northern Ireland now, and some of our teams are travelling maybe an hour and a half or 2 hours, and that could be on a Wednesday night. If those players are young, then they have to get up for school the next morning or get up for work. It is a lot of travelling in our leagues at the minute.
Well, Valerie, I personally don't know how you do it with your job. It seems like so much preparation, so much fixtures. I would get so confused. When does prep for the new season begin?
Preparation for the new season? Really, in our role as a committee, we don't really stop all year round. That might seem odd, but so in December we start interviewing the new teams, and then everyone starts, registration is February. Then you start organising the league structure and then the fixtures. So it really is an all year round job.
And how do you balance everything with that? Obviously you live in a farm, you have your own animals. How do you do it? Like, you're juggling so much.
I juggle so much, and I have 7 grandchildren as well to look after.
Valerie, I don't know it.
Oh, it's great. You just do it. You do it for the love of the game. There's nothing as exciting as going to pre-season friendlies at this time of the year and seeing all those young girls coming through.
And I know we haven't known each other for too long, Valerie, but I've really seen like the family-like atmosphere of everybody. Yeah. It really does feel like one big family. You can't really compare it to anything else. I can't think of anything that's similar to that.
No, women's football I think is one big family, and you can see that at different times of the year. When something goes wrong, the family all stick together.
Yeah, definitely it is a family. And we've got the season launch coming up. Are you excited for that?
Yes, the season launch is on the 16th of April, and we go into the Bluebell Stadium, and there will be 61 teams there hopefully represented, and pizza van and whatever, so we should have a good day at that.
Well, let's pause there just for a moment, and we'll be back to hear more from Valerie shortly. And we'll also be joined by Keri Halliday from Linfield Women in the second half of the programme. But first,
every week on the programme, we'll take a behind the scenes look at a club. This week, we travelled to East Belfast and visited Glentoran, who are well into their pre-season training.
Hello and welcome to Ashfield Girls High School in Belfast, where tonight, as you can probably see in the background, Glentoran Women are going through their paces ahead of the brand new season of the 2023 Women's Premiership. We spoke to some of the girls after their training to get their take on the season ahead, and here's what they had to say. Season 2023 almost upon us. Looking forward to it?
Yeah, really looking forward to it. Just started pre-season a few weeks ago, and everyone's looking nice and sharp. Everyone's been working hard in the off-season even, so yeah, we're feeling really, really good.
We can't wait to get going again. I think November feels like a long time ago. It's been a long break, so I think everybody's just buzzing to be back in. It's been good to get friendlies under our belt, and can't wait for the season to start.
You've had a game or two so far already?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we played 2 Dublin teams, Shamrock and Shelbourne. Got 2 really good results against them. We beat them, so yeah, we're really happy.
That's great encouragement leading into the season, really.
Definitely, because them teams are at the top of their league, so it gives us great encouragement for how far we've come.
Well, yeah, it's been really good to get minutes in. You know, them games are played at a really high intensity, and that's the sort of competition you want before the start of the league. So yeah, it was great, just as enjoyable to get back on the pitch as well.
We've had Shamrock and Shells both come out with victories, so we're pretty pleased with that. We've been able to implement the things we've been working on in training, so hopefully leading into the season we can implement that when the season starts.
Have you seen much of a difference this pre-season compared to previous ones?
100%. Really enjoying it actually. There's even more structure than there was before. We have a plan and we're working on how to execute that as a team, which is fantastic.
I think for us it's been like a lot more probably professional, if anything. You know, we've had like a real structure of like what's happened each week, and everybody knows where we're at, so we're all on the same page with where we're at, like with football stuff, with fitness in the gym, and yeah, you know, it's been really good. It's been intense enough, but yeah, I think that's what we need.
Cliftonville is going to be the big rivals once again this season, so it's going to be a very hard fought contest.
Yes, of course, and it always is, but that's, you know, shows the progression of the league. You know, we really enjoy playing Cliftonville. It's a great competition, but this year we feel more ready for it.
I think everybody's a challenge and everyone presents a different challenge on different days. Anyone can beat you on any day, so we're going to take each game as it comes and treat every single game like a cup final.
Probably going to be another tough season around. Obviously a lot of clubs have strengthened as well.
Yeah, 100%. I think if anything it's really good for the league, you know. All the teams are strengthening, the whole league's becoming more professional, and yeah, that's what you want. You want to play in big games, competitive games, so if everybody's strengthening, it's only good for the league.
And what's your ambitions for this season?
I think we want to go and win the league. You know, we missed out last year, and like we've had a look at where we went wrong and what we could do better, and yeah, I think we want to go and win the league, and you know, just go as far as possible in all the cups as well.
Of course, to win the league back. And anything on top of that's an absolute bonus.
Win the league title, of course it always is, and maintain the cups.
Looking forward to it?
Absolutely. Be probably one of the most competitive that we've had, and very excited for it.
Glentoran are certainly getting in the swing of things for the upcoming season, but now to our second studio guest of the programme. Only 18 years old, she was Linfield's Young Player of the Year in 2022. She's a Northern Ireland Under-19 international and a promising up-and-coming striker in the league. She is Keri Halliday. Keri, welcome to the show.
We're going to go back to that VT. Obviously Glentoran seem to be in the swing of things. Valerie, how do you think that the NIFL season will go this year?
4 NIWFA teams just have moved up to it, 2 last year and 2 this year. So I think it will be exciting to see how they progress and how they cope with being up in a much higher league.
Keri, obviously we just seen Glentoran's preparations. What about with Linfield? How have they been getting prepared?
Yeah, we're during pre-season here, so we're training away, and the legs are definitely sore every week, but yeah, it's going good. We ended on a high last season, so I think we've continued that throughout pre-season, and we're all a year older. Last year this was our first league, so we're all a year older now, and we're ready to go.
It's exciting that the league is expanded.
Yeah, no, definitely. More games, and it's a bigger challenge to play against other games, especially Ballymena, to be a home bird.
We obviously talked about with Valerie earlier about how she first got involved in football. Keri, where did your journey begin?
I started playing when I was 5 at Ballymena in United, so I remember going and I was the only girl there, and I was told that, you know, a lot of girls don't play football, like she can come but I'd just be scared in case she gets hurt, and the coach said at the end she's great potential, and yeah, the rest is really history. I've been playing Ballymena for 12 years, so and I've over at Linfield.
I know that we're kind of a similar enough generation. I know whenever I first started it was the exact same. People just were not used to females playing, but now thankfully that's changed. But did that give you motivation to push forward and like break those barriers and play more?
Yeah, definitely. You know, there was only a boys team for a good few years, and then when we got a girls team, you know, that motivated us even more. That we seen the Northern Ireland girls pushed on and even supporting them the NIFL teams. So yeah, definitely it motivated me. We had a great team at Ballymena, so we did, and we won a lot. So yeah, it was good there.
Speaking of winning a lot, I heard you captain the girls team to win the South Belfast Youth League and the Foyle Cup. What was that experience like?
Yeah, it was incredible. Like a wee town in Ballymena, and to go, they didn't like it. They didn't want a town team to go into a Belfast League. But, you know, we went and we first won the Foyle Cup. I was under 13, and it was my first time captaining the team. I remember we beat Crusaders, I think it was. in the final, and even teams from Belfast were sending players down to us, like they wanted to play for us. And then that season we went into the South Belfast League, and I remember the very first game we played against Linfield, the team I played for, and I remember scoring a header, and it's a big thing travelling up to Belfast every single week and playing against the big teams that you always wanted to beat. So it was a great experience playing and learning at such a young age.
You've obviously proved now that you're a real goal scorer. How did you become a striker?
I kind of gave a go at all the positions. I remember being goalkeeper at a stage, but I don't know. There was just something about scoring the goals and the celebrating and everyone cheering with you that you sort of like. And I did play in the midfield. I was left back for boys teams, but I think as I got older, I liked the striker and now I play at the wing or up the top.
You said there about you started, maybe did a bit of goalkeeping and then went up front. It's kind of like Josh McGuinness,
Yeah.
who kind of did the exact same thing. He's obviously doing quite well for the men's senior team. Would it be your ambition to kind of be the female equivalent and go from goalkeeper to now striker for Northern Ireland?
Definitely. That's always the ambition, that's always the dream, to play for Northern Ireland. That's what I'm working towards. So yeah, hopefully someday.
And striker's definitely your position. In your first starting debut for Linfield, you scored a hat-trick. Talk us through that.
Yeah, I remember my first game, it was against Glentoran the week before, but my first starting game was against Derry City, and I remember getting beat by Glentoran, but it was like a big learning curve because you played in the lower divisions and you were hammering everyone, but then you get beat, so it was another learning curve. And then to start the next game the week after even was a big achievement to even start for them, but to go and score a hat-trick was amazing, and I was shocked. It's one of my best achievements, so it is.
Valerie, we were talking earlier obviously about girls moving up from NIWFA to NIFL. This is a prime example of it here. How proud does that make you feel?
It's great because Ballymoney actually still have 2 teams in our NIWFA league, but just to hear Keri saying that she started with the boys team, there are so many girls now playing in boys teams, especially in rural districts where there's not enough girls for the girls team. So those girls will progress with the boys, and then whenever they become older, they'll either go to an all girls team or move. So, but it's great that there are so many girls now playing in the NIFL league that came up through the NIWFA leagues.
And it's not just you that's got the Ballymoney connection in your family. Your sister, she still
Yes.
plays for them.
She still does. She would play at the left, or she even played goalkeeper for a few seasons when they were struggling to get a keeper. So yeah, she's still playing for them, and hopefully she always does.
There's a bit of a theme here with your family and goalkeepers. Was your dad a goalkeeper or anything, or is it just try anything?
Just try anything. We just normally get thrown in wherever. I think it's the reactions. Maybe very small too, so I don't really understand it.
I was going to say your height, but you must be good in your feet and good at like getting to each side.
Must be, because the height's definitely not there for a goalkeeper.
And what was the switch from a small team like Ballymoney to Linfield like?
It was a big one. I think a lot didn't think I would be able to do it in such quick, but it was Division 5 and then Division 4, so it wasn't even like from the Championship or Division 1 to the Premiership. It was the lowest league and the second lowest league, so like I said, like we were beating teams double figures some weeks, and it just wasn't a challenge. So I think when I went into the NIFL, I became more a mature player, because I learned that you can't always win, that you can't always have a good game, that there is always bad games, there is always times that you're not going to win, and I think then I've matured so much as a player, and I think going into this season that I can take that on and even just try to get more results and more goals against the bigger teams.
You mentioned there about going into this season. Obviously it's going to be a tough ask for Linfield this year. How are you feeling going into it?
Yeah, I think again we finished off on a high last year, and I think we can just only take that in. I think we doubted ourselves a lot last year, I think, especially at the very last 2 games when we played Glentoran and we drew 2-2 and we started leading 2-0, and I just think we doubt ourselves going into them big games, and that we can't do that because we can challenge up to them, and we can, even though we have such a young team and the average age is probably 18, 19, we can play against the big teams and fare up against them, and I think going into this season we will try to do that and get more results.
You said there that you finished last season in a high. Talk our viewers about that a bit more.
Yeah, we drew with Glentoran 2-2, and I remember scoring and then setting up one. And I remember we were leading 2-0, and I couldn't believe it. I know we got beat maybe 6-0 before in the other game, and that's the games you want to be playing against, especially against your Belfast rivalry, Glentoran versus Linfield. You want to have a tight competitive game, and that definitely shown that at the end. And then the last game against Crusaders, we beat them 2-0, I think it was. So again, ending on a high. So I think we could just take that into next season, and I think we'll do well.
And we were talking earlier with Valerie about the success of the Northern Ireland's women's national team, many of which you play against at Crusaders and Linfield. Has that inspired you as a player?
Yeah, definitely. Playing with Ashley Hutz and training with her in and out every week, somebody that I would have always looked up to. She's the mummy in the team, so she inspires us all, so she does, and we all look up to her. And even playing against them, like Glentoran, like you're playing Cara Hamilton, Keri Halliday, Jackie Burns, so when she was there, and playing against all them, it's a great experience. Like they're the players that you've always looked up to, and to be playing against them, it's just a big learning curve, and you can learn so much from even just playing against them.
Would you hope that maybe one day you'd be that player that everybody's looking up to?
Yeah, no, definitely. I hope one day even play with them at senior level. So yeah, definitely want to inspire those coming up even below me. And
talk us a bit more about your ambitions as a footballer. What would be your dream?
My dream definitely is, like, my end goal is to play for the seniors. I know I'm in the under 19 squad at the minute, but just to break through to the senior squad and even, I don't know, get across the water, just try to do something. And yeah, that's the aim. Just go as far as I can, be the best version of myself is basically what I want to achieve.
Tell us more about your international career. I heard you captained the under 19s in Poland. Tell us more about that.
That was the best experience ever. Being brought into the room just before the game and told you're leading the team out. There was a tear in my eye. So there was, but then you have to put the brave face on when you're going to walk out and lead the team out. I remember it was against France, and she was basically 6 foot, and beside her walking out Northern Ireland was me. So it was a great experience. And then to score just 3 minutes after that, I know we did get beat, but to score 3 minutes after that, to go 1-0 up was an amazing experience, and I'll never forget that day. So
does that give you more motivation to push for senior football and more experiences in the under 19 squad?
Yeah, no, definitely. We have the Euros coming up here before the league starts in April, and we have Kosovo, Cyprus and Latvia, so we're training towards that and hopefully get into them squads and do well there and qualify for League A again.
You mentioned there you've got the Euros coming up. How's that going, the prep going, or is it not started yet?
Yeah, no, we were in camp a few weeks ago there, and we're training throughout the weekend, so we're just trying to learn more about the teams.
And you had some of your qualifiers at home last year. What was that experience like to have fans here?
Yeah, no, it was great, and it's the same again this year. They're at home, they'll be at Seaview, so they will in April, so again it'll be great to have my family there. I don't think they've ever seen me play an international match at under 19 or 17 level, so it'll be great to have them watch me.
Thank you both for joining us today, Keri and Valerie. We wish you all the success for the future.
Thank you.
That's all from the Northern Ireland Women's Football Show this time. A huge thanks to our guests once again, Valerie Heron and Keri Halliday.
Well, Jana, we're wrapping up the first episode in the series. Are you excited for what's ahead?
It's hard to believe that's the first one over, to be honest. It's felt like it's gone so quickly, but yes, I'm so excited for the rest of the series and to have you by my side and talk some football.
Well, we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. From Jana and from me, bye.
Bye.